So, welcome back, everyone, to another incredible episode of Chat with Dan here for today on the show. We're having already the best Tuesday already because we have on the show the incredible, the amazing, the badass, the superstar, the legendary, the one and only, the incredible Lauren. Lauren, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. What better way to have an incredible, super badass Tuesday than to be chatting with someone as badass as you? You know what I mean?
I feel you.
There you go. There you go. Now, if you are new to the channel, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, follow. It helps a lot. But also, on the description below, you're going to find all of Lauren's social media. Let's follow her. Let's find out why she's super badass. We're on a mission right now. And without further ado, let's jump in. So, I want to start this whole conversation by throwing out the first question, which is, what was the moment, that exact moment when you knew that acting was more than a passion, that acting kind of became your purpose, let's say?
So I thought a lot about this question, and I don't know if I can pinpoint an exact moment because in my whole life I've been in and out of theater. I guess I would say it was more of a hobby until I was about 18 years old and I just finished high school, and I wasn't doing any extracurricular activities. I wasn't singing, dancing, acting, which I had done as a child. So I found myself very depressed and I didn't know why because I was so young. So I remember the turning point. It's so silly. This you're going to laugh. I went to Chick-fil-A and I saw a celebrity there, which was so weird, but I believe in synchronicity and I believe everything happens for a reason. And I saw this performer and I was like, wow. I looked up their story afterwards and I believed that it was possible for me to be that same way. So I just got very inspired and I was like, I'm like that. I'm a performer. I can do that. And to see the person in real life, it became very real to me that like I can follow that same path. So yeah, something clicked that day. And then I joined my theater, to which I would be in for probably, I think, 7 years on and off. And then started professionally working with an agency. So yeah.
There you go. I'll take it. It's so interesting how sometimes something happens, something in your daily life happens, and then instantly clicks something in your head, and you start to be like, you know what? I want to do this, or I want to try
Yeah.
this. You know what I mean? That's, for example,
Yeah,
that's how this platform started as well. By watching someone who kind of does the same thing, I was like, man, I want to do it too. So,
exactly. You
yeah,
see it and you believe it's real for you. You're like, oh, I could do that. Yeah.
there you go. I like it. Now, in your experience, does becoming a great actor require breaking yourself down or building something entirely new?
I would say a little bit of both. I would say it's the process of breaking yourself down in a sense of getting to the root of your truth and creating something new with the character you're portraying through that truth. So, yeah, a little bit of both. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, kind
Yeah.
of. Yeah, I get it. I get it. Now, how do you prepare emotionally for a role that usually, that maybe that role will require lots of vulnerability, trauma, or even grief? So, my question here is how you come back from leaving those type of situations.
I would say the first step is to always have a strong foundation and to make sure your mental health is stable. I definitely am in therapy. I take care of my mental health. So I know I'm able to go to those places and come back to the same life, to the same support system, my family, my friends. Community is everything as well. I would say my acting teacher emphasizes a lot putting on the emotions, kind of like you're putting on a coat and then taking it off. So we wear it for that scene, we express it, and then we let it go. And through my maturity as an actor, I've learned how to kind of separate myself from that. Yeah.
Do you believe acting heals, or can it sometimes, let's say, reopen wounds that we thought that were closed?
I definitely believe through acting, I have reopened wounds, but because I've learned to take care of myself through therapy, it's helped that. And now I'm in a place where I know myself, I know my triggers, I own it, and I'm able to visit those places without hurting myself. And I also feel like it is healing as a form of expression. Yeah.
Mm. I love it. And tell me, what has been the most challenging role you have played at this point?
Mm.
And challenging, I mean, let's say emotionally on it, right?
I would say this most recent, I had a theater performance and I don't think I prepared enough for it. And when I got on stage, it's like I was trying to get into the emotion all night. And then I did the performance, I flopped, and then after I just broke down because I was preparing and then it didn't come and then it came after. So that was probably the most frustrating experience for me because especially having so much time under my belt and experience with acting, just the frustration of that, I think was the most draining part for me. And then I could not stop crying the whole night. It was so funny. Now I look back and I can laugh, but in the
Hmm.
moment, I was so upset.
Okay. Okay. Has there ever been a role that exposed a truth about yourself you weren't ready to face?
Yeah, I would say I'm always ready to face anything that comes up. I think that's something I learned in the beginning of becoming an actor. I was like aware that it's my responsibility for what emotions I have. So I'm always ready. But something I didn't expect to come up, I was analyzing a character who had themes of self harm. And I personally have experienced in my life themes of self harm. So I was working with a private coach on that. And she was explaining the character, not knowing what I had been through. And then the correlation to my life, something just clicked inside of me and I just broke down and I lost it. I was like so emotional and I started bawling. And she was like, "Are you okay? What's going on?" And I was like, "I'm sorry, it's just too close to home." So, but I learned something about myself through this character, which was really cool.
Now, some actors say that they kind of lose themselves, right, in a role. But have you ever found yourself in one?
Yeah, I would definitely say in the beginning of my process when I was 18, I was becoming a young woman at that age and still finding myself. And I started exploring theater. I started exploring all these roles and wearing different outfits and trying on my mom's clothes and seeing. I remember the first character I played was a Latina woman. And it was just so cool to see, okay, what would I wear if I was this person? And that's when I started wearing heels and experimenting with clothes. And yeah, through that process, I found myself because I was like, okay, this is this character, but I found a little piece of myself in it. And then it kind of, I became a woman through that process.
Okay. Okay. What's something about the craft of acting that people outside the industry deeply misunderstand or sometimes overlook?
I would definitely say technique, the preparation. I feel like everybody looks at actors on screen and they're like, oh, I want to be like that. I'm going to have my big moment and I'm going to do this and that. And it's just so much more than getting in front of a camera and being emotional or bringing truth, or people think actors are liars, like professional liars. And it's not true. Acting is the most honest thing you can do in this life as a job. Like acting, you're bringing your own truth to it. So it's the opposite of what people think. It's lying. Like, yeah, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
And so coming back to my original point, I would say technique. So you don't realize, but you'll be on set for 12 hours and then your scene is at the end of the day and the director has this certain angle and they want you to get going in 30 seconds. You have to give an emotion and they're tired. They want to go home. So they rush your scene and you have to like pop out this truth in that little time. And then you realize, oh my God, that was a wide shot. And now the close up, you're not emotional anymore and you lost the emotion. It's like, it's all this stuff, you know, it's not just getting on camera and going. It's like you have to be so mindful of your angle, of like, you have to communicate to the director and the everybody. Yeah.
What is the usual process? So you finish your day off set, you're good to go home. What is your number one thing that you usually do to kind of decompress, let's say relax like a little bit to it?
Before and after anything, I like to meditate and I like to do things that make me happy, like go to Pilates, go to yoga, work out, just some sort of like mental health, take care of myself. And just coming home to that community, to my acting class, it's nice to have people that are going through the same things that I'm going through so we can all kind of decompress together. Every Wednesday night I go. And I think that's so important for any actor in this industry.
I'll take it for sure. What would you say that it's that song that could describe a little bit about your career and a little bit about your personality as well?
Okay, so I'm a really big fan of Freddie Mercury, and I would say Bohemian Rhapsody. I know that's like what everybody likes, but I swear when I discovered Freddie Mercury, I was like, he is my soul. I feel him. And it just the chaos and how it sounds so beautiful together and it's messy and fun.
I'll take it for sure. Sounds like a good song to me. I like it. How do you stay grounded in an industry that constantly asks you to reinvent or even sell yourself?
I think realizing this life is bigger than materials and coming from a grounded place. Again, having that community, like there's more to life than fame or the idea of that or money or all these things. And I think what I'm very grateful for is that I found myself first. Of course, life will always cause me to expand, but I know who I am today more than I used to. I think it's a really tough journey to be pushed into the industry at a really young age because you don't know. And I think that's why there's a lot of lost people turning to drugs and alcohol and all these addictive things. And I think it's really important to know yourself first and be grounded and be stable first, take care of your mental, and then pursue. And honestly, I don't think anything is worth selling yourself for. And I say that now, but I know being in that situation and being offered these amounts of money, it's tempting, but I don't think it's worth it. I really don't.
I'm starting to discover why you're badass, just saying.
Thank
You're
you.
giving me these vibes here, I'm gonna like, okay, okay. I've started to understand now. Pretty cool.
I
Pretty cool.
appreciate
Now, do you believe that real life heartbreak or personal loss make someone a deeper performance, or is that a romantic myth?
I believe any life experience is going to give you that relatability as an actor. I believe if I'm going to portray someone who's been abandoned, then it would be nice if I have experienced that emotion myself. And I believe everybody in life experiences these things to some degree. And I think it's my job to bring truth to that. And I think the more life experience you get, the better the actor you are. I think some people are kind of born naturally with that grit. But I think in studying, because I study all the time, and I even through my life experience, when I'm in an argument with someone, I'm like, oh, wow, they're really triggering me right now. I need to write this down and add it to the toolbox of, wow, I'm emotional. I'm feeling this hurt. If I'm going through a heartbreak, I'm secretly really grateful because I'm like, oh, this is making me a stronger actor. Now I know how to portray this.
I mean, I do think that at the end, there's always a possibility for you to learn something new and at the same time working on yourself to
Mhm.
become better. I do think that that is what life is all about, to be better every day, or at least try to make those little steps, but at the end of the day, focus on become better. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, that's productive. I'm all about being productive. So I'm not going to let things in life defeat me. I'm going to use it and alchemize it to get a result, you know?
sure. I mean, of course, that is easier said than done.
Yes.
And it's normal for us to react. I mean, at the end, we're humans, we feel
Yeah,
like all of that. But I ended up discovering, like, yeah, sure, feel it, embrace it. If you're going to feel sad about it, sure, feel sad about it. But then later on, who knows? There is always a chance for you to learn something. I have discovered, or at least in my life, every single time something happens, eventually in 3, 4 months, I discover that it did happen for a reason because for it took me to something else, to a different position. It took me for a different path then, but then turns out that that was kind of the right path. So that being
exactly.
said, I do think that that is like life has already planned where your life will be, but it's up to you to actually listen to those lessons that is throwing you. You know what I mean?
Yes. And they don't stop. If you don't listen the first time, it keeps coming. Like the universe is like that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Have you ever turned down a role because it didn't align with who you are or who you are becoming?
Yes. There's thin line with today's social media, OnlyFans, all these, it's so much access to the woman's body in that way. And I'm not in alignment with that. And even back when I first started, the goal for an actor is to be in the union, to have SAG eligibility. And I remember this one casting director that's very well known down here, they offered me a role and I would get my union eligibility, but I would have to show my breasts. And I was like, no, it's just not worth it. And I remember my mom telling me, there's going to be another opportunity. There's going to be another way. You're not going to have to settle for something that you're not in alignment with morally. And I'm very grateful for my acting teacher I have today because he's very adamant on having boundaries, and he won't accept roles where he has to be a pedophile. He won't accept roles where he has to rape somebody. Like he has strong boundaries, and that's how you get what you want in this industry. Like when you're able to say no to people, it brings you closer to what's really in alignment.
There's this huge misconception about setting boundaries, you know? And sometimes
Mm.
people would think you're either an arrogant or just an asshole.
Yes, and
When it's not like that. It's not like that. It's healthy for you to have boundaries because at the end of the day, sure, it's your passion, but it's a job too. You don't want to compromise it or feel uncomfortable because something I do think that if you're gonna do something, at least do it because do it like in a safe environment or more like because you actually want it. You know what I mean?
yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I have discovered that over the past few years that setting boundaries is a lot. It's people keep thinking that either you're an arrogant or you're just an asshole, and we're just like, no, we can all get along, but I need to have my boundaries so as everybody else, because that's the way it should be. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, and I actually want to say something on that. I heard something recently that if somebody is not okay with you having boundaries, it's because they benefited from your lack of boundaries. And when I heard that, I got chills and I realized, like, yeah, because some people really want to take advantage of you. So that
mhm.
shows you who your people are when you put your foot down. I love it.
Hmm. Totally. And we have seen this multiple times, right? Someone within a position of power that actually
Yes.
abused people, for his sake of it or for whatever reason. So now let's talk a little bit about self doubt. How do you navigate those silent moments where the imposter syndrome creeps in?
I used to encounter that a lot when I first started in the acting industry. And then when I started studying with my most recent acting coach, the way that we grind material, the way that we study the classics, Shakespeare, Tennessee Williams, we go through the foundation of acting and where things began. And it makes me feel more prepared as an actor. And it makes me feel like, I'm worthy of holding this space. So I don't feel that imposter syndrome. I don't think I feel it at all anymore. I think sometimes I do doubt myself emotionally. That's always, going to take time to to build confidence in. But I think having that material under my belt, I feel like that has stopped those imposter syndrome thoughts. I think also just showing up every Wednesday I go to class, I feel this is what I do, I'm worthy. I think that's all that is.
There you go. Tell me how you handle rejections. It's part of the job. So what is your usual process to deal with that and not let yourself being affected by a rejection?
Yeah, I think it's funny because with acting, it's so many parallels to me as a human learning how to navigate this world and the human experience. So learning to deal with rejection, I'm trying to say it's a life thing, not so much an acting thing. So I think learning that it's actually redirection towards something that's better for me, and knowing again that there is more to this life than acquiring these roles or material possessions, knowing that there is a greater purpose. And I think if I'm too in my ego or if I'm too in my head about something and I want it to go a certain way, I've learned to let it go. I've learned that the outcome is actually better than I could ever imagine once I let go and I let God take over.
Now, in a world of social media and constantly visibility, do you think mystery is still a useful tool for actors?
I think so. I see a lot of peers of mine utilizing social media and documenting every single experience they have. And I'm like, wow, that is so cool. I feel like I'm not that person. Maybe one day if I get somebody to help me, but it's so much work to like document everything. So in a way, I'm like, you know what? Maybe a little mystery is okay. Like I think it's interesting to see the process. And then sometimes I think it's interesting to just see the finished result and know, like, all right, how did they get there? That's interesting. That makes me think as the viewer. And I just saw an interview with Meryl Streep lately, one of my favorite actresses. And she said, you don't want to show people the process. You want to show them the result. And I'm like, you know what? Yes, Meryl Streep. She's like, the process is messy. And sometimes people don't believe in you when they see that ugly duckling phase. And sometimes it's nice to just kind of put out that finished result until you get to a certain point, and then you can let them know, hey, this is where I started and you can do it too.
There you go. Pretty badass too. You keep just raising the bar here. You're killing it.
Thank you.
What can I say? Now, if one day your work helped someone feel seen or gave them the courage to dream again, would that be enough?
That would be more than enough. That's my whole purpose in doing all of this. Just one person.
Switching to our next section, quick rapid fire questions, yes, no, or pass. Super simple. I'm gonna ask you a couple of questions in which you only can answer yes, no, or maybe pass.
Okay, I'm ready.
You ready? Cool. So, do you ever stay in character after the director yells cut?
Yes.
Have you ever cried in a scene that it wasn't scripted?
Yes.
Do you believe in method acting?
Yes.
Have you ever regretted saying yes to a role?
Yes.
Do you think words still matter?
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Is vulnerability your greatest weapon as an actor?
Yes.
Do you memorize lines quickly?
Pass.
Fair enough. Have you ever rewritten a line in your head because it didn't feel real?
Yes.
Do you think fame ruins craft?
Hmm. Pass.
Would you take a break from acting if your soul asked for it? I'm sorry?
Pass.
Pass? Okay, okay. And can you cry on cue?
No. I mean, pass. That's a hard one. You know what the thing is? You're giving me three options to say, and I want to explain myself for all of it. So I'm like, I'd rather pass.
Okay. I mean, if you want to uh, give a little bit of an explanation in one of those, you can totally do it. I'll tell you what. Out of the three questions you said pass, you can explain only one. Which one are you gonna pick?
I guess the last one, because the thing with crying on cue, it's so technical. Again, like technique is everything. That one is it's hard to say because sometimes yes, I could get there. Sometimes the script calls for it. Sometimes an audition I could get there, but sometimes I'm not there. It's a process, and I know for myself as an actor, that's still something I'm working on. So I don't know if I can confidently say yes, but I don't want to say no either because I'm like, you know what? Sometimes I can,
Fair
but I
enough.
need to keep down.
Okay, I'll take it. I'll take it. That was a cool explanation. Now, what motivates you? You know, we all have those days that basically we just want to quit. It's inevitable, happens to all of us, either if we are pursuing acting, music, modeling, whatever happens. So, how you stay positive on one of those days, let's say.
I would say coming back to myself, if I get way too lost in that material world where I'm like, I need to compete and win and do this, I think if I get too much in that ego, I have to separate myself and chill out and remind myself, hey, I'm a human. I have family that care about me. I have friends that care about me. And I need to take care of myself. So I think it's learning to reframe those thoughts Again, going to yoga, going to Pilates, doing things that I love, going to hang out with family. That's how you ground yourself, I feel. Meditation, it's all about controlling those thoughts and shifting it to a more positive way.
And what advice would you give to those who either perhaps they want to pursue acting or they just want to pursue something outside the typical box, right? And yeah, like what advice would you give to those people who are thinking about pursuing that, knowing that they're gonna receive, you know, rejections, like all of that stuff. So, what positive message would you give to those people?
I would say just start and see how it goes. And if you fail, that's a really good thing. It doesn't mean that you should give up. Failing is actually what's going to make you successful, and people don't always tell you that. I think we hit one bump in the road and we think, okay, that's it. You know how many people that you see on TV that have doubted themselves because they had like a few bumps in the road, but the difference is they kept going. I think the most successful people are the ones that persevere regardless of whatever happens. So never give up on yourself, see it through. And if you think it's too late, it's not. It's never too late. Just keep going and trust that inner voice that's telling you to do it, you know?
I'll take it for sure. Okay, okay. And you know what? My last question, so we can
Okay.
all enjoy and relax after an epic chat here. So, what do you think that could be the best title for this episode?
Ooh, the best title for this episode. Oh my gosh. Believe in yourself.
Who knows? Sounds like a franchise to me.
Yeah, as cheesy as it sounds, it's true.
And at the end, what can I say? You know, the fact that you're pursuing what makes you happy, that's incredible. That's badass. You know, we all know that doing something that, yeah, like building a passion from scratch or building something out of scratch, it's challenging. For sure, it can be a pain in the butt every now and then, but you're making it happen. That is super cool. That's amazing. And also, I mean, you're not only just presenting us cool characters, you're also showing that dreams are possible. And I think that is super positive. And positivity, I do think, is something that we desperately need right now, especially in this crazy world we're currently living at this point. The fact that we can rely on people like you, that's incredible. And now we discover what you're bad at. So,
Thank you.
absolutely. Now, I do want to thank also those who stay the whole episode. Let us know what you think in the comments below. But also, by this point, come on, you should know why Lauren is super badass. So let's follow her. Let's share some love, but also let's make her viral. Hashtag Team Lauren. And again, thank you for making this happen. Keep shining out there, keep rocking, keep kicking ass. You're doing an incredible job. And I'll be seeing you in the next one.
Thank you.
All
so
right. Absolutely.